Everyone you thought you knew deserts your fight. I'll go with you. You're facing down a dark hall. I'll grab my light and go with you. I'll 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 go with you. Surrounded and up against the wall, I'll shred them all and go with you. When choices end, you must defend. I'll grab my back and go with you. I'll go with you. I'll go with you. I'll go with you. Yeah. Stay with me. No, you don't need to run. Stay with me, my brother. You don't need to run. Stay with me. No, you don't need to run. Stay with me, my brother. You don't need to run. If there comes a day, people posted up at the end of your driveway. They're calling for your head and they're calling for your name. I'll bomb down on them, I'm coming through. Do they know I was grown with you? If they hate a smoke, no, I'll go with you. Just keep it outside, yeah. Stay with me. No, you don't need to run. Stay with me, my brother. You don't need to run. Stay with me. No, you don't need to run. Stay with me, my brother. You don't need to run. If you find yourself in a lion's den, I'll jump right in and pull my pin and go with you. I'll 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 go with you. My blood, I'll go with you. Yeah. Stay with me. No, you don't need to run. Stay with me, my blood. You don't need to run. Stay with me.
for the meeting to start. We're gonna see and wait about maybe 2 to 3 more minutes to let stragglers come in. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first meeting of the Weavers of Fate. Thank you all for coming. For those who are going to be late or have to leave early, anything like that, we are streaming it currently. Shady Silhouette here is streaming it, and the VOD will be up later for everyone to view or to review if they so wish. We're going to start off talking about the goals that we have for the Weavers of Fate, and with that, I'm going to let Bayo take off.
Yay. So our goal is basically to tell stories and help you guys really tell stories. Either
Fucking degenerate.
being through just RP talking or PvP or money based RP, whatever. We're here to help you guys with that. Also, we're giving you guys the tools to help out with telling stories. You guys could come to us for event ideas if you guys are have like a really good idea for an event, and we can help you out with that. Our seasons are going to change. Oh, my bad. Our themes are going to change each season, of course, with new lore and just fresh new ideas. Sometimes they might be continue from the old seasons. Either way, it won't be thrown into your face. Admin run story or theme. You guys will. My bad. You guys will be able to not be overwhelmed by admin driven stories. And again, we're just simply here to tell stories and a few ways to help out in that. So I believe I could pass it on and let the others detail the nitty gritty of some other stuff. So charisma, right? Doing the aesthetics.
Well, as many of you know, we have finalized our mod list for the season, which is in season information. It is a collection on Steam, and there are currently 20 mods in that list. Uh, uh, from season to season, mods will change depending on high fantasy, low fantasy, what direction we're going with. And again, this is season 0, guys. We're testing a lot of things. We're looking at the professions mod for all of you and ourselves and are seeing how it goes. We've obviously done lots and lots of testing on our live server, but there's only certain things that are going to be seen when we bring it into a live season. Along with that, we are using EE. Uh, the feat blocker blocks all of the NSFW stuff, and I have personally gone through all of the transmogs, all of the cosmetics, uh, and the various decor that we'll be selling to make sure that it is a-okay and is safe. There will be, the list is pretty extensive as far as what admins are allowing, and there's a lot of stuff that even ties in with some of the background lore. And they really do encourage our economy system because a lot of the stuff, besides the stuff that you can request, is in vendors. We have lots and lots of vendors for you all to peruse, and it's all in there. And as long as it is been deemed safe and not trolly or overly OP or uh, you know, stream compliant, stream good for stream, then we have let it onto the server. And that will roll us into our economy system, which, Shady, go ahead.
Shit. Just one moment, your stream can't hear your mic. No.
Technical difficulties. Hold on. All right.
There we go.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. So, in your starter cities, what you're going to find is each starter city is going to have a vendor, and some of the items in which you find will be tailored to that city individually. So, you won't find the same mounts that you'll find in the Iron Keep, that you'll find in the ruins of Arkala, or Adamar's Crest, or Keeper's Rest. So there will be some diversity there. And the reason this matters, the gold part that matters, is hopefully if you're grinding out gold, that translates to changes in your character, and rewards for you that reward you in a more role play sense and help build your character over time. It'll feel more compelling to do those activities and more rewarding. So the vendors are really hard to balance right now. So like I said, your guys' feedback is going to be very, very important. Right now, you can sell some items to vendors, but for the most part, you're going to get most of your gold out of role-playing. So this is going to help you tavern owners out there competing with your other tavern owners. Maybe you have a cover charge. Maybe you want to be a bodyguard in case people get out of the way. You need to hire a thief, a mercenary. The gold actually has value, so the RP has value in terms of your dramatic action that goes on between the negotiations. Your clans, as long as you're in a clan of 5 or more, or a collective of 5 or more, you can capture tiles, and some of those tiles have gold, which will give you gold, 10 gold per week, and Buccaneers Bay is 15. And most of the other stuff, I guess, will be touched on in the map play, which we can get into right now. So let me pull up this map. If you guys go into seasonal information, you guys can see this map and see what I'm talking about as I go through it here. But we have a lot of... this map's basically going to be your resource out of character as to what you need to do and what needs to happen. So each week, if you're in a clan of 5 or more or a collective of 5 or more, you will be able to make 2 moves a week on the map and then 1 optional move. So your 2 moves could be capturing tiles or attacking other tiles that somebody else has captured. You don't need to be adjacent to tiles to capture them. But you do need to be adjacent to them to attack them if somebody else controls them. Your optional moves a week could be raising or repairing the tiles. So if you are in a smaller clan or you're in a bigger clan and you don't exactly want to be responsible for maintaining that land and defending it, you can instead opt to destroy that land instead, making other people unable to capture it unless they repair it prior. And to repair it, you will need to capture the tile adjacent to it and then repair it. And you do that by dumping resources into the tile. We'll collect those resources and we'll repair the tile. And then you'll be free to capture it and do as you wish. This is really good. Specifically for the smaller clans, maybe you want to capture a tile, but you want to defend yourself. You can just start raising the tiles each week around your captured tile, and it gives you a little bit of a safety net. You have gold tiles, which are identified by the gold stars. Each of those are 10 gold a week. Then you have your purples, and those are conquer tiles. So what's required of you is to capture what is in that description. So looking at S8, the Frost Forge, you would need to capture S7, S9, and S10, and then capture S8, and you would be able to get the Frost Forge Conquer bonus, which would be an extra 10 gold per week. So it gives you incentive for holding on to onto those tiles. But there's also the Unnamed City and the Witch Queen in Q5, which will give you tablets of power for your feat points. You'll also see the black exclamation points, which are the unique mounts. We picked 4 of them that we liked, the more mythological kind of cool ones. The dragon and the griffin specifically take flight and glide back down. You can capture those tiles and do an event each week. And if you succeed that event, you'll be given the mount, but you will need to purchase the saddle from one of the vendors on the map. The other icon that you'll see right now are the blue question marks, which represent the weapons of legend. And those weapons of legend are weapons that only one of them exists on the server. So if you capture Daughter of the Dragon and your clan invests the gold into the expedition to recover that item, that is the only one that is going to be on the server. So it's really going to hopefully help promote your clan or your RP in general if you're in a smaller group, because I know that a lot of us have either seen or been a part of RP in which we all tried to say that our Aclonius blade was different from everybody else's Aclonius blade. So hopefully you won't run into that issue. You know, if you're a Viking Jarl, you could get Thor's hammer, you know? But as far as the capturing the tiles go, you can capture your 2 tiles each week. So say you capture a tile, or you plan to capture a tile, you submit your 2 moves in on the Monday, and somebody else captures the tile as well, wants to capture the tile. You all will either settle it in an OFB, or one clan will concede that capture. So you either duke it out and see who's the victor of the land, or you concede and give it to them. In terms of your base, so there is a difference between your base, which is that your base will house your HQ and your outpost on the same tile. So your first tile that you capture will be your base. And if somebody attacks that tile, they will need to destroy your outpost first and then attack your HQ in that hour limit there, or whatever win condition is set with you guys in your terms. The 3 types of combat that we're going to have, because we're trying to move away from the term raiding being synonymous to any type of conflict that goes on in Conan. You're going to have your sieging, your OFBs, which are open field battles, and your declaration of war. So the difference between these 3 would be your OFB pertaining to any combat that is taking place without destroying builds. So that's just normal skirmishes, anything like that. If you decide that a clan is sieging, which is when you decide that you are going to attack their tile and destroy their outpost, which can be Stone Aged and utterly destroyed. The outposts are not meant to be restricted in that fashion whatsoever. You can opt to not have the outpost on your tile and have an OFB instead if you're the defender. So if you don't want to build the outpost on the tile before the battle happens, you can opt for the OFB. So the third and final one is a declaration of war. And the biggest difference between the declaration of war is that 2 clans or 2 alliances can come to terms and set combat terms for each other during this war. And that can alter the PvP rules for those that it pertains to. Whether that be you want to have a kill on sight war, where if you see the other faction, you can engage them with very minimal RP. Anything like that. Combat thralls are on. These are all terms that you can set yourself. And that is the biggest difference between the declaration of war. I think that that's everything. We'll probably come up with more stuff when we get to questions, but I think now it's the carriage system. Okay. Yeah, we got one more thing. The carriage system. So in each town, that is the Seppermaru Bazaar, the Iron Keep, the Ruins of Arkala, Adamar's Crest, and Keeper's Rest. There is a carriage that will transport you to any of the cities, or any of the one-way stops, so they'll drop you off on the way. So each of those towns have a cost in terms of money to pay the wagon driver, and that cost depends on your location in the world. So traveling from Adamar's Crest to Iron Keep is a farther distance, so it's going to cost you more money to get there. And each of those carriages are adjusted for that. So expect to pay money. It's not exactly steep in price, but it's enough to kind of immerse you in the fact that you're taking a wagon. It works just as well as a map room would, only you don't need to worry about the obelisks as well. So you don't need to run around grabbing obelisks each season. You can just use the wagon right off the bat. And I think the bounty system's next, so if you're ready, Dante.
Yes. Okay, so one thing that we've been working on for
Yeah,
quite
I
a
didn't
bit
see you
now
guys, my
is
bad.
creating our own custom bounty system. So it's obviously something that you don't need to do if your character wouldn't do it, but it's there's an option there if you wish to make another source of income. So it will be tied to a certain faction within the game, which will be located at the Iron Keep, and it will, like you said, be a way to earn coin and also extra rewards. So it'll be tied through Thespians, and basically, the starter part of it will be very basic. It'll be gaining certain item to progress and gain the trust of the group. And then once you've progressed into that, it'll be a small time sink and obviously a bit of farming involved. But once you get into it, it'll open up a quest system that will direct you towards fighting custom bosses that we've created across the world. So these custom bosses, a lot of them are, some of them are quite difficult. So it will be encouraged that possibly, especially the later game ones, would be done in groups. But once you do one of these quests, you'll gain reputation with the clan, and it will progressively unlock better quests as you go along, which will give you more money and rewards. So hopefully it'll add just an interesting element, especially to some that are more focused on combat. But there is obviously going to be other ways that you can make money apart from combat, but this will be one of them. So hopefully you can go out there and discover some of these bosses and have a good time, and hopefully not all get permed by them. And that's there'll probably be questions on that, but we can answer them in a little bit. So that'll be moving on to Bun.
Hey, MDR, before you start on that, I'm gonna just clarify the nomad stuff, if that's cool. So we ran into an issue with the professions mod in terms of the nomad trading routes. It seemed you could like dupe items and do all sort of craziness with the head slot item that was going on. So we had to recreate the trade system. So in each town, you'll also find a shipment manager who will give you a shipment and tell you to transport it to another place, another town. And while you're holding those, you're not going to be able to fast travel using the wagons. So before you take those, make sure that you're ready to not take the carriage. But that's been replaced out of the professions mod with thespians in each town.
So we're going to move on to Q&A here. I'm going to be going over the questions, and if there's something that I feel like I can't answer, I will look to my team, and they will help me. So I'm gonna go with the first question. Dr. Renedict, is it the real Dr. Renedict? Yes, it is. Dr. Renedict asked, Exile Extremes brings out concern in a good deal of folks. I trust this team to handle things right, but can you explain a bit on how the feat blocker
Shoot,
works and
I'm late.
reassure
That's
us
fine, Glitch
that there will
Queen.
be no pornographic
Hey,
items or
I saw you
content allowed,
whitelisted.
i.e. the
What's
feat
up,
blocker will
Black
all of it, or
Mamba?
will need to look out for degenerates. So first off, how the EE feat blocker works is that it blocks the feat that allows you to craft the NSFU and safer work items. Every single cosmetic and item we have gone through and made sure that there is nothing that would break TOS content or that nastiness. No, we don't want that for you guys. And to kind of knock out another question is that anyone who has used it or is using an exploit for thespians to get that sort of content on their thespian, well, the thespian will be deleted and that person is gone. Question number 2. Wild Dizzy, what will be done to ensure the claim area / mod won't take over as a game mechanic lore that pulls away from RP? Jaden, maybe you can help me with this question as the map is something that you understand the most and how you it'll affect RP for them.
Yeah, so I understand the concern, and that's something that is going to happen with anything that's added to Conan or anything that a mod adds. Basically, it's more like an honor system. We're hoping that you all will be able to utilize that system to fuel your RP, to enhance your RP. There's not going to be so much OOC. We're going to be showing where people are claiming, but not who is claiming it. So even in RP, you will need to scout out those areas to make sure, or to see who is claiming that area. You can kind of take that as like your scouts maybe brought back information, or you heard it down the grapevine that that area may have been claimed, and then you go and you scout it out. But we are hoping that you all can use that to fuel your RP, because in essence it is a game mechanic that we're adding, just the same as any other game mechanic that's being added as well. So we're hoping that that will help fuel your conflicts, help fuel your RP if you're deciding that you claim an area. Do whatever you wish through there, because RP is king, right? So if somebody is like gaming the system, that's what we're hoping to address in season 0, which is why we didn't shoot off into season 1, because there are a lot of things that we're doing that we're going to need to see how they work in practice on a larger scale. And hopefully through the feedback you guys give us, we'll be able to make these systems better, and they'll work more synergetically with your RP and story creation going into season 1. So none of these systems that we're adding are polished. None of them should be expected to work 100% of the time, the right time, all the time. But anytime somebody does use them in a mischievous way, or a way that's not exactly intended for the intent of the vision, that just gives us more information to adjust it going into season 1. I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it should.
It was well said, JD. I'm going to go on to the other question because it's related to it. So would you mind explaining conflict RP versus PvP if you haven't already, and the differences between them? The idea that conflict can be more than just physical violence as well, so it's clear and everyone is on the same page. What we're hoping with this system that we're introducing is that it'll bring more kinds of RP. Conflict RP is more than just fighting. It can be the political game. It can be sabotage. It can literally be just disagreeing with someone else and it leads to conflict. It doesn't have to be simply fighting.
Yeah.
There's many different ways to tell that.
In terms of conflict only being PvP, in a thematical sense in cinema, it's called dramatic action, and that's like Game of Thrones. For a good example would be dramatic action, where you have all the political intrigue, all the stuff MDR touched on, the sabotaging. Maybe your group comes into conflict with somebody else, and then you need to somehow barter a way to get somebody that they don't agree with, who doesn't always agree with you either, to band together to take them out, right? All of this is a dramatic action, and that's the build-up you want before the big crescendo, the big magnum opus in which you guys would fight. Everything is a lead up. We don't want to just, be capturing tiles and then all it is fighting. We want you guys to fuel your stories with this assisting you,
All right. Hopefully that gives some clarity to people as well as the previous question. Moving on. So this was mentioned before with the Exile stream, but once again, anyone who uses any exploits to put NSFU content on a thespian is gone. It's not allowed at all. The thespian will be deleted. That person is gone. Moving on. I have to check that this is Dr. Renedict each time. Okay, so can we go into a deep dive on how the map conquest mechanics rewards will go? Maybe an example of how it'll work each week. I do believe Shady covered that, but if you want to provide another example, Shady.
Yeah, I can go into the so we have a thespian coding right now, which this is basically whenever you designate that your clan will be on the map and you capture your first base tile, you'll designate a place for an admin to come and place this clan thespian. A good name for them would probably be liaison. And what that liaison will do is you can talk to her, and each week she'll tell you, hey, I've collected these taxes from your lands, and you can collect your 10 gold. Only the clan leader will be able to talk to that thespian. And if you have harvest tiles, which I actually think that I didn't touch on, the map that we made in Anvil is colored differently for each biome that we've set. So your first tile capture in that biome will reward you with a resource pack each week. But you only get that by investing the 5 gold to pay your workers. And these resource packs will give you 4 resources that are native to that area. So you don't need to spend your time. You could be RPing, farming it. If you captured the tile, and we're doing a conquest system, talk to your liaison, pay your workers, get the stuff so you don't have to farm it. But that's how it'll be handled as far as the rewards go, is through this thespian.
All right. All right, so the next question I think is Dread. And I'm wondering, says, how will PvP spammers be dealt with on the server? Are people like the real Rickshot going to be allowed to do as they please?
You cut out.
Right, so does someone want to take this question from Dreadstone? Drenestone?
It is already a rule within, I think, every single Conan server that there needs to be proper lead up and proper RP prior to any sort of PvP. The same's to be said post PvP. We all know what good form looks like. At least I hope that we would. But if somebody is PvPing you without the proper roleplay, we do ask that you either contact an admin with the ticket system here in the Discord if you believe that there is a rule break. But if you think that there was some sort of bad form to be taken out, the rules state that you are to reach out to that person and try to handle that stuff out of character. I guess salt isn't like the best thing to say in that situation, but if you believe that that person's using bad form, we ask and require you to reach out to that person and discuss something. It's very possible that that person may be new to roleplay. Maybe that person's character had gone through certain events that made the RP justified on their end that you're just not aware of, or you took it as meta, something like that. So reach out to them first, try to work it out, and if you guys can't work it out, that's when you'll bring it to an admin and we can handle the roleplay. But there shouldn't be any PvP spam. I don't really know what to say on that, because there needs to be roleplay prior. Otherwise, it's a rule break, right?
The next question is, by OFB open field battles, do you mean normal day-to-day RP PvP, normal run-ins and conflict, or something more? I believe we made it something more. In a sense, it works with the... Does it work with the tile, Shady? I believe it does.
Yeah, so if you're going to attack somebody's tile, that person's going to be required to defend. And you have a warning that needs to be brought up so that we can get everybody ready and on the same page, and they can build their outpost so you can siege it. If the defender doesn't wish to have a siege, they can opt for an OFB. So they can opt for in the tile system to have you all meet on the field with no sieging whatsoever. But in terms of an OFB, that is any skirmishes that may happen on your everyday roleplay. So those rules that apply to the OFB will apply to any sort of normal roleplay PvP instances that don't require a building being destroyed.
And the second part of his question is, when you say claws are banned, do you mean the regular claws and not the modern ones with different animations, or all claws in general? I do believe we are talking about the vanilla and EE claws that are banned.
Yep. The steel and star metal claws, the ones from the Emberlight, have been reworked, and they're fine to use in PvP, I believe, in the steel ones. But the bestial claws, the EE claws, those ones still work off of kind of the same thing that everyone's run into in the past with the server performance aiding in an exploitable way.
Right. And then how will flying mounts work in terms of combat? Is it more a wait and see type of situation? I think it's a little bit of mix of both. We do expect players to react if flying mount is used, such as shooting down the mount. If it's running away from a conflict PvP battle, I would say that if you are giving chase, shooting at it, that is completely something that is viable, as it is they're running away essentially. But we will probably be depending on your feedback. So as time goes on throughout the season 0, again, test season, give us your feedback on sort of things. How can we make it work better? Give us a solution that could help us come up with a rule or a fix for such things. Going to Holotoxin, will we be able to request size changes, or are the size available in character creation limits? You will be able to request size changes. I recommend, if you haven't, letting us know ahead of time, or when you're in the starter area, be sure to get your size changed there. That is the time we will be doing size changes, and if you do need a size change afterwards, due to some sort of glitch or perhaps you left too early, do put in a ticket, let us know, and we will take you to the starter area and change your size. There is a min and max size that will be shown within the starter area that you will see right away. Okay, so some weapons brought in by a mod or two cause effects and sounds when taken out that restart once put away and taken out again loudly. Will there be rules that disallow folk from spam drawing weapons that have those effects? If one of the others want to address that.
We've tested the majority of the weapons. I think there was an issue with the hand cannon early on before EE fixed it where the sound was too loud. As far as the other weapons go, we're not... we're not gonna... There's no way that we'd be able to like monitor whether or not somebody keeps pulling their weapon or drawing it out in terms of those effects.
We haven't really noticed any weapons are obnoxious like that. I mean, there is no effects on them, like fire effects, electric effects, but the sound effects are not overly loud, and
so
maybe if they are, you've got your sound up a bit too loud.
What Ren means by that is like the Thor's hammer. If you spam like putting it out, it does a thunder sound. And essentially, if it gets too out of hand, and we find out who it is, we'll let them know to calm down. If they don't, well, they'll be dealt with.
Yeah, I mean that might be a good good enough thing there. Don't be an asshole,
Yeah, pretty much.
Those
All right.
live by the server. Don't be an asshole.
All right, moving forward. Are there any rules against mugging people for Pippi Gold? If not, how would one go about this with the other person? Currently, I don't believe there is a rule against that. This would all be an RP scenario, and you do have to go with what the person is allowing you to go with. Just RP out the situation. I mean, you can easily get gypped or have that person run away if that is what you're doing. I would expect people to, those who do not know the Pippi command, struggle against it, and that's something you have to expect, that there might be some people who do not know the Pippi command to pay, and so on and so forth. In the future, if it becomes troublesome, I think we would discuss and talk about it based on feedback from the community. Go ahead, Dante.
Well, maybe we should say the command just so.
True. So for those who don't know the command, it is /pay space the person's name space the amount space and the type of currency, gold, silver, or bronze.
And usually just if the people have multiple names, like a second name, just do the first one. That will usually work, because sometimes putting the second one, it doesn't agree with it.
And it should be said that we're doing a lot of things to try to help and promote everybody's roleplay in a hopefully more immersive way. And you can't do that with tons of restrictions. So hopefully we can allow everybody to be adults, handle these situations the best that they can, and roleplay this out. Thieving and mercenary work, that kind of stuff, is very fun and valid roleplay. So hopefully we can create a good balance that would allow somebody to take up the mantle of a thief and it actually be beneficial to them. There was a long-form discussion on acquisition of power, and acquisition of power is a big deal. It's a big motivator for a lot of characters. If you're a thief and you come from nothing and you want something that someone else has, that is a huge motivator. Everybody wants to work their way up the ladder. So I don't think that when we're bringing feedback about these systems, like MDR said earlier, try to come up with a solution, but try to make sure that that solution is maybe thought about objectively as well. Because you don't want to like suffocate someone's role play. You don't want to make their role play invalid with a bunch of restrictions.
All right, I hope that answers your question. Moving forward, will there be a punishment for people who leave mid RP after server restart just to gather thralls? Now, if they're completely ignoring your character and just run off after restart, I would say that is something you should reach out to the person before, and if you can't work it out with that person as to why they did that, you can put in a ticket. But overall, if they do give you RP reasoning as to why they're leaving, even if you know it's for something OOC-ly, IC-ly you do not, and you must treat it as the reason that you are given IC-ly. In regards to ban stuff, all Orichalcum is just banned for PvP, right? Not PvE. That is correct. Orichalcum is banned for PvP. I am really hyped for professions, race selection, and such. Will you guys be policing people that choose a different race than what they are role playing because of stats? If that person requests a change of race due to it not being the well, this is race or class. If they're requesting a change due to not being relatable to their character, they will not after the starting point because they chose that character. Now, if they're changing class, it's a completely different reason. They would have to put in a ticket with RP reasoning as to why they are changing class, and it has to be thoroughly thought out and brought to us in a fashion where we can see where that character is coming from. But we will not be policing race. The reason this is not happening is due to the fact that not every race is within the professions mod, and there will be races of creatures or people that can relate to a profession's race but isn't necessarily that race, but that is the closest they can get to it. Now, this change from season to season depending on what sort of theme we go for and such, and if we are using professions for that season.
I think what he's also talking about is power gaming in general, making sure that you pick the right selections to get the maximum out of your stats. Into that, like, it's just an honor system situation as well. I mean, if somebody's a human and they make it very clear that they're playing a human and we find out that they're playing an orc, that is a power gaming situation because they're making that selection for power gaming reasons, right? To min-max their character and become strong in-game rather than the roleplay for their character. So in terms of that situation, if we see it or you see it, you know, report it because that would be a rule break.
Overall, it's pretty much where it is something that we have to see and we have to know. So do not be afraid to open a ticket if that is something you believe is going on at the time. All right. Will there be something in place to limit trash talking from certain so-called top tier peers like Renedict? I think Ren kind of rips into himself more than others personally. I'm sure Shady will host some sort of rap battle in his own Discord or somewhere else. There will never be a rap channel. Never.
We don't know that yet.
Wow.
No, we know that. It won't happen.
We won't. No rap channel.
If you can dream it, it can happen.
No.
In the dreams. All right. Is this server linked in with the lore of the Fade Wars, Keeper's Rest, Animal's Crest, or is it homage to the past? I would say it is homage to the past. Also, just a mesh of names that created Aldamar's Crest and Keeper's Rest. But it's definitely homage. We are not linking this to TRB lore or anything that happened on TRB. But we all experience different stories in different places, and we all want to homage it in one way or another. So that's what this is.
Yeah, and Adamar's Crest wasn't even, like, big leaks here. Adamar's Crest wasn't picked because of Ren. It just happened that way. There's big leaks, guys. Right there. MDR and I came up with that name just because it sounded good, and it just so happened Rin had a big brain moment where he picked a name that sounded good.
No, we actually spell it differently though.
I think someone
Mhm.
else picked that name for him, right?
Oh, exposed.
Yeah, Heavy did. That's right.
Oh, okay.
It's spelled differently as well. The letters are rearranged.
Yeah, and it honestly it is easy to misspell because we all know Adelmar and his untimely death again.
Well, we don't
Right.
all know.
Okay, some of us know Adelmar. All right. I see on the map T6 is declared no build. Does that mean all of T6 is no build, or just the island where the marker is placed? If it is Telos Island or the Sumerian village or New Asgarth, it is not including the surrounding area. It's just included for that island or village area that you cannot build within. What happens if someone deletes a weapon of power? Can someone else take this question? I'm not sure what he's asking.
So I think what Zelkar's talking about is if you got the weapon of power and then you like threw it on the ground and it got destroyed. I mean, so I guess role play is kind of king there as well. I mean, if you didn't mean to do it, I mean, it could be replaced just like anything else. But if you're doing it on purpose, like you know, Frodo the ring into the lava, that's role play. Like, there's only one of those weapons, so if you destroy it in role play, like that thing's gone.
All right. So where are the starter cities on the map? After this meeting later today, I'm going to be working on updating the map, and I will be reposting it within season information once that is done. Or I will at least let people know that it is done. 2 times a week is potentially a lot of different events slash moves. Is that going to be manageable? I do believe it's going to be manageable. We are working as a team. I don't believe there's going to be an event every week. This is completely dependent on how the players expand out. I do
Yeah.
believe it'll be manageable. And again, this is season 0, a test season. We will be finding out if it is manageable. But I do believe we can do it because we have a team here, and any one of us can feel free to take the reign on an event and swap off for the next event, so on and so forth.
Yeah. And in terms of 2 times a week, those moves, there is a way to manage it. Basically, priority will have to take. We'd have to have a priority list for those things, right? So 2 times a week, that's any number of conflicts that could be happening, any number of captures that could be happening, right? So you put in your moves on Monday, but there is a good chance that you might not see the actual update of that move because we've given ourselves the whole week. So you put your moves in Monday and they'll start to fold out throughout the week. So if there are a lot of events happening, you might not see like on Monday you're fighting on Monday. It might be organized that you're fighting on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So think of it as the Monday moves are for the events that will be happening within that week, not on that Monday. If it's a simple move, as in capturing a tile, and all we have to do is change a color on the map, that's simple. Zip, zap, boom, done. But we are going to want to put in care and time into everybody's events because everybody is important. No one's more important than somebody else. So, it is season 0, but we're going to try to manage this within the week, not within like a day or 2 of the moves being put in.
All right. Are people who have weapons of power allowed to give it to another person to skin over it? No. There is only one in the world. You cannot give it to others to skin over it. What if turns can't be agreed upon? And I'm assuming this is to be for sieges or OFB battles.
think
then it'll fall back on the base rules. It'll just be a normal battle.
yeah, I think he posed that question when you're talking about declarations of war.
Yeah, so the terms can only be agreed upon if you guys agree upon them. So if you guys can't agree upon the terms, no admin's going to spend 4 hours trying to listen to you guys bicker. I'm just going to say it now. It's not going to happen. If you can't come to terms, it's going to fall to the standard rule set that we have put in place, and that's just how it's going to roll out.
All right. With the different weapons of power, how is one to police transmogging of these weapons within a clan? Also, some of these weapons are very powerful, even compared to in-game professions weapons. Will the ones that aren't tagged as skin only, tested to be on par or below the Fulgur Ignis tiers?
He's talking about the EU weapons that are OP, and possibly better than the in-game tiers that are offered with the Professions mod, which the majority of them we looked at, they look to be on par or actually worse than the in-game Professions mod. So, I mean, if we do run into an issue where something is considered to be way overpowered in that situation, like we said, this is ever changing right now. So, you know, when something arises, we'll nip it in the bud.
All right, there we go. Are you offering any sort of level boost at the start of the season? No. However, when you reach level 60 and you would like to build in glass constructions, put in a ticket to an admin, and you can get a level boost. This level boost will not give you any feats or attribute points. It'll just be a level boost so that you can unlock the glass construction items. Do we have these that people can make use of for trading and stuff? You do not have to join a starter city at launch. However, there is inns and houses in 2 of the starter cities that you can, quotation marks, become part of. And what this does is it allows you to either rent a room at an inn and as a temporary stay. And once you do that, each time you use the egress door, from the initial price, it'll charge you 5 bronze per the time you use the door. Or if you want to buy a house, there's a system for that, but these are pre-decorated. You cannot put a bed down. This is in the city. You, in all sense and purposes, are not a part of the city's clan, but you are a citizen or a visitor of the city. This will be in Keeper's Rest and Alambar's Crest. These are the only 2 cities that have that. Other than that, you don't join them. You just make use of it. You can go there for your vendors or just for your RP scene that you're doing. That's basically it.
And there will be crafting areas within the cities too. If you do choose to become a resident of the city, you will be able to craft things within the city too, if you want to.
This might be barred for visitors and open for citizens, but yes, there are crafting benches in the cities along with the vendors there. Let's see, going on. With the addition of what benefits are on different tiles, do you feel that people are going to claim a tile based on meta information of knowing a specific weapon gold mount is in that area? Any chance that the map can be changed to give more of a vague idea of what is in a specific tile? Examples would be instead of X weapon is in a location, you say legend says a powerful artifact can be found here. That is something that could be changed. However,
I can get it if you want, MDR.
Okay.
So we did discuss this in quite a great length, because like that is what we're dealing with on surface, right? Is that the OOC map on the anvil is, for all intents and purposes, meta information to fuel that gameplay. So we try, like, we were going back and forth quite a bit about whether or not to make vague representations of that, but in the end we basically felt like if a clan or group is going to invest one of their 2 moves a week, we don't want them to get something that they necessarily didn't expect for, right? We wanted it to be something that they could look forward to. Like, I want to capture this weapon, I want to get this mount because this is going to fuel my RP. Like, my RP is that we're dragon riders, or griffin riders. We want to secure this location to fuel our RP. As far as like the weapons and stuff go, we're feeling it out. Like, if we can get the feedback that people just don't want to know which weapon lays there. There was another system I think MDR was bringing up about having a thespian there to speak on more specifics, but that would have required people's in-game time to be spent scouring the map trying to look for stuff. And everybody wants their time valued, so this was like the simplest choice for all those problems, I suppose.
Answer your question. Will there be a way for people who are RPing a craftsman of sort to sell crafted goods to NPCs? I know quickly it can become hard to sell certain goods out there because a lot of people eventually own of insert certain thing here that people whose RP is based upon on this, or that can be assumed. There currently is not a vendor who will buy crafted goods, and this will be something that will be based off feedback. Currently, what we have is certain resources can be sold at a vendor for a price. We wanted to make it so that, again, currency had a value, and putting in a bunch of things that people can sell for currency while could also decrease that value. But again, give us your feedback throughout this season on our systems that we have in place, and we can improve upon it from there.
A bigger justification, I guess, for why we didn't include that system. It was something that we wanted, but as we started going through the recipes, because of what Conan is as a game, it's a survival game. So, say you're like we have it to where you can sell iron or something. Well, it's just a lot of calculations and a lot of numbers that need to be ran, and it made it to where people could ultimately exploit and game the system where they could just craft a bunch of armor and then sell a bunch of armor to the NPC and then just make a small fortune in a small amount of time. So at the time, it wasn't something that we had really the capability of accomplishing right now.
I hope that answered your question. Moving on, what constitutes proper RP for PvP conflict? One's definition of that changes with every character. Right, so proper RP will change with every character. If you're talking about PvP conflict, there is lead up that leads to that conflict that each character will reflect, and that is completely dependent on each person on what that definition can lead up to. Now, if it's something that is more fueled by OOC means rather than IC means, and it's very clear that it is, I would consider that not proper RP PvP conflict. But if they're doing this 100% in character, I would consider that proper RP conflict.
Yep. There's not a checkbox. There shouldn't be a checkbox that each person needs to run through to justify their reasoning for their character being upset or participating in a conflict situation.
All right. Not sure if this was asked already, chimed in a bit late, but if, say, we need an admin or staff member to play a NPC character for an individual story, is this something you all would be offering or no? Like, say, for example, we need someone to play a character from another character's past. Would we be able to request an admin's assistant in that to push a story? We would ask for you to put a ticket for something like that, and we can see who might be available or willing. Not to mention, we would want a little bit of backstory on the lead up and perhaps who this character is if we do agree to play on it. It is completely possible that we will, and it's also completely possible that we won't. It depends on time frame and how long. I do know that there has been times where we have been requested to do such, but it has taken let's say, hours to get to that point, and we all value our time, and admins do value their time too. Sometimes we can't wait for hours, so it'll be completely dependent on who wants to pick it up and if we can pick it up. But we are willing to listen and get your reasoning and help. We do want to help your stories flourish in the end. That is what we're all about, helping stories flourish here. So again, put in a ticket, we'll see what happens. There are mechanics like the undead race that have a effect that goes on people around them, like a smell. Can we use that icy, or is smell RP still banned, even with effects? For the undead race, because it does give a smell effect, I would say that you can use that for your RP, but I would recommend that you do not guess it right away. Kind of lead up to it, see if your character would understand it. Would your character know what that smell is? Or would they not? Would they not be able to smell it? Do they have some sort of problem with their nose? Do they have a really good nose and it makes them go unconscious or something? It is something that you can use, but make sure not to go right away. Oh, I know that smell. Give some lead up before you have that clarity in your character. Can reoccurring characters remember past RFB experiences? This one I think is up to the player. They can remember past experiences, but if you're talking of the same lands, it might prove a little difficult. The reactions you might get might be like, yeah, that's never happened here. Just be aware of those sort of responses that you'll get, because for some characters that never happened here in this land, that never happened here. So treat it as you're talking from another land or another dimension, alternate dimension, something like that. Come up with a reason why your character does know this and not, or whatever theory that you want to put behind your character as they had this experience somewhere else that is akin or alike this world that we have placed. Wait, we can purchase Skyrim player homes in server towns. You can purchase homes. There's not many homes. There are inns and stuff like that, but you can if you have the coin, and no one's going to randomly go in and ERP with you, Ren. Sorry. I know you like that NPC juicy goodness. But yes, you can purchase player homes. There is a price on it. You can find out once you enter the server how much it costs and if you can afford it. Let's see, will these buyable houses have a bed for us to use as spawn? There will be a bed, but it will not be used for you as a spawn. Unfortunately, the thing with not having players be joining admin towns is that they will not be in the clan to have a bed to spawn to. A recommendation would be have a bedroll on hand each time, or whatever item that you want to use to respawn at. But they will not be working as an actual spawn point. We have tested this, that someone go outside of the clan and see if they can actually bound to a already placed bed that's not bound to, and they cannot. I'm going to go past that question because it is struck mark, but we will come back to that in a second. So alright, so cars is I've come in late, but with the looting rules, if a weapon of power is seen on a body, can it be looted? If I recall correctly, clans will have a cap. I'm guessing this is two different questions there. And
Yeah. So weapons of power can be looted. So yeah, they can be looted. And clans have a cap at one time. So 3 weapons of power at any given time. So if you lose your weapon of power, you can still acquire another one.
No, I hope that answered your question. Okay, so let's see. Are you allowed to build on a claim tile if your character knows I see it is owned by someone else for varying RP reasons, of course, keeping the potential consequences that might come in hand? Or would your placing your home, showing building on someone else's land, claim tile be considered a rule break? No, it will not be considered a rule break. This would be all up to the RP of the person living on the tile, whether it's the person who is claiming it or the person who is living on it. This would be up to them on how they handle that. If you don't want anyone living on your claim tile, that is something you have to show ICly. They cannot force you out by OOC means and by the OOC map tile mechanic. This is all something that has to be taken care of ICly, and I hope that clarifies that for people, is that they cannot use the OOC mechanic to kick you out of land. It has to be IC reasons. So if they are a conquering sort of clan, they might give you an options of what to do, or they might require you to perhaps pay taxes or be loyal to them. And it is up to your character on how to react to that. And it's up to their characters and how they react to your response. I think the question Kara was getting at was what would be the protocol of a group that, for example, would in RP either take or destroy a weapon of power, but they are already at their cap of weapons. Will they need to break character and not destroy the weapon that was on the body?
Yeah. So if their RP is to either take or destroy a weapon of power, they already at their cap of weapons. So I'm assuming what's being asked here is if your clan possesses 3 weapon of powers, but they're out to take or destroy other people's weapons of power. So obviously RP is king, right? So if your role play is that you are going to take that weapon and you're going to destroy it, you need to execute that role play. The rule more pertains to making sure that we're spreading the wealth, right? So that not one big clan comes in and takes everything from everyone. We want to give the opportunity for everyone to have those weapons. So if your goal is to take the weapons and then hold them hostage, you might want to destroy some of the weapons you already have. But if you're taking the weapon to destroy it for RP, and your clan doesn't plan to hold on to it, then I mean, I guess in RP, right? Like that would be fine. It's more a spread the wealth kind of rule than a restriction on any one clan, like accumulating power or something like that.
Okay. Next question. Can we build where we want to, or do we have to take over a claim first? You can build where you want to. You do not need to take over a claim first. Now, if someone does take a claim of where you are living, again, that is up to the RP of it, of what can happen.
Yeah. So the map is simply a way for you all to fuel your RP. It's a tool to be used by you guys, and it has some fun effects to incentivize the use. It's a fun way for you guys to capture a tile, engage in conflict, and for the most part, you build up your outpost. You're building that outpost up prior to the fight, knowing that it's going to be destroyed. So everyone can have fun knowing that you're about to build a battlefield that's about to take place, and everyone can have fun in that event knowing that there is nothing valuable within that outpost that you're actually going to lose. So it takes some of the skin off of the loss, I guess, if you do lose it, right? But as far as everybody else who's not participating in the conquest map, Conan operates the same way Conan's always operated. You don't need to be so worried about any of the admins stepping in and telling you that someone else's land you can't build there.
All right. So, can we exceed build limits temporarily for the purpose of an outpost? Yes, you can. Next question. I can't remember what mod it was in. Okay, so the mod is roleplay, the roleplay mod, and it adds emotes and ravens. For the question that is gone, I am going to address it anyways. The outpost will count on your limits. Just to clarify that, it'll be counted on your limits if it stays. It is meant to be temporary, and for the temporary purposes, the outpost is allowed to be, or the build limits are allowed to be exceeded. will there be a Google Doc with all the map information, rules, and unique things going on the server, so it's easy to find and read for later use. Currently, there is a World Anvil map that is up, but I am working on a little information packet with uh, Discord knowledge, professions links, and so on and so forth, along with some things that will be related to uh, in game, but not too much of it. So that way you still have something to go back to. But for the most part, all of it is in season information that we currently have. Is there any more questions, or we good to go on? If I start seeing the jokesy questions, I already know it's good to go on.
Some things that were brought up kind of over or before, kind of like either people bringing it up in DMs or in voice chats. Yesterday, I know that mounts were brought up, that if somebody gets in conflict and they fly away on their mount, it's within your RP reason to fly away on that mount. Just know that nothing is going to prevent that clan from coming after you. Like, if they're looking to pursue you, or that person's looking to pursue you, you know, your mount has to land sometime. So, there's not going to be any admin protection for you in your mount if you're using that to avoid conflict.
You could also get shot off your mount as well. So
There you go. For those who don't know, you can request cosmetic items within our ticket system. Just open up a ticket. This server is VoIP and text-based RP. You can do both. There you go. If there isn't any more questions, or if there's any more questions, post it now. If not, I'm going to move on.
Yeah, and then we yeah. It's the fun
ready?
stuff. It's the fun stuff now.
Ready to hear things.
Do it,
Smash.
MDR. Do it, MDR.
Okay. Well, first off, we want to drop off this delicious video that was recorded, edited, and made by Dreadstone with the help of our staff members here. And if Shady, if you want to drop the link within the meeting chatter and or season information, just drop
Yeah,
it.
we can. So after as well, we can do a premiere on the stream as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, everybody can watch it together at that point, or maybe you want to stream it and then everybody can watch it together?
You can stream it. I would post the link down for people, because I think streams. Are you talking about Discord streams? Because there's like a limited number of people that can go in there, right?
Oh yeah, I'll be watching this for anyone in this stream too, in my stream. Just click my name, pop it up after MDR gives you the juice.
The juicy bits, first off, is I want to throw out a thanks for our modding team who has made it possible to put in mods that weren't going to be there originally. So if you just throw them some love again, they have figured out RP notes, stays dry, and they're going to continue to figure out more and put out more. I know they're working on weapons and stuff, so stick around, see how they progress. Feel free to hype them. Just they're awesome and amazing. And I also want to thank our lore writers and world builders, because they have been helping us, and they're great, and they're wonderful and creative. And I want to thank you all for coming. And the server launch date, instead of launch date, tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. CST. Be prepared to enter the world on the Weavers of Fate.
oh my god.
Oh, dude.
Hey, I'm gonna give you guys.
Say it, Dante.
I'm gonna give.
Guys,
I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds, and we're about to do a global, national-wide launch of this video that Dread put together.
You said it so aggressive, Dante. Goddamn.
yeah. You've been bugging me for an hour now to say it.
Yo, dude.
I needed the $5.
Get that video out.
Yo, dude, we're doing it, man. We're doing it. We're doing it
I
big.
see your question, Miss Oma. Yes, they are. That's what you will be able to find there. All right, guys. Again, thank you all for coming to this meeting. Hope to see you tomorrow on the launch day. If you have any more questions, feel free to throw in meeting questions. We'll leave it up for a little bit, but this concludes the meeting. Now you're all free to trash talk Ren and Dread because they were the same person for a little while. It was really confusing. I hope you heard that confusion I had for a little bit.
Yeah, and you guys still have 15 seconds to get in here and watch this video because it's amazing.
Just leave the channel, come back, and then trash talk.
Yeah, you can always do that.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yo, we ready for this, dudes? We're playing it in 3, 2, 1.
Many have stories to tell, but many do not get the chance to tell them. Yet the weaver's thread reaches far and wide, grasping for those with the potential. And pulling them into the web. Do you have a story to tell, Wanderer? Come along and tell me your story. But be careful. One can get lost in this reality, never to be heard from again.
Fucking degenerate.
That is the reality of this fate.
Yo, so that was the video, guys. That was the video by Dread. It's really fucking good. Like, man, how hype is it, dude? Truthfully, I was just streaming the meeting. There's no gameplay after this. Jaya, thanks for that subscription. You're fucking amazing. Okay.
Fucking degenerate.
A Del, Daisy, Hebby, thanks for those follows. You guys did hear fucking degenerate, because, you know, this isn't a Weavers of Fate stream. This is my personal stream. So, I'm just shady over here. I'm not an admin. But this is amazing. I want you guys to know that the admin team are pumped. They're hyped. We want to see what you guys will do. Everybody, like the admin team started, and we wanted to make a Conan server, and then it just started morphing, and we were like, we wanted to innovate on the Conan server. Innovate on what is stale in Conan and try to make it great and fresh for all of you to bring all your stories. And then we started getting more and more support. We got modders out there doing the work for all of us, getting you guys mods, getting you guys content. I mean, they put in like 4 mods into our Weavers of Fate mod. That way you guys could get more customization, all these mods that you guys wanted. Like, people are out there really putting in passion and work to make something great here. So I'm really excited to see what you guys do tomorrow. I'll be playing a character tomorrow as well. Maybe not tomorrow I'll be playing him so much, but I will be playing his character this season. You guys will see him. His name's Talius. He's a little bald guy. You might have saw him on his adventures already in the Discord. His little backpack rubbed off all his hair. He's a very ordinary guy, so ordinary he's extraordinary. And that's what I'll be doing this season. And I can't wait to see what you guys are doing this season. At the end of this, muted video, I'm stopping the stream and we're done. But thanks everybody for stopping by.